Welcome to the podcast, my dear friend Mike DuBois. Thank you for being on the Covering the Dead podcast. So nice to have you on the show. Uh, this is a new thing for me, so it's nice to kick it off with friends I love, and you're in that category 100%. And
Thanks. He's happy to be here.
yeah, well, okay, so just the funny part is we're both in Woodstock in our own homes, but we're over Zoom.
That's right. I know. Well, you were going to come to the studio, but this is easier.
Right, because we were going to rehearse for our band Misty Mountain Ramblers. We have a rehearsal tonight, and we
That's
were going
right.
to rehearse there and then do it there. But I guess we're also going to Kenny's for rehearsal now. Kenny Schneidman, our
Got better
keyboardist
air
and
conditioning than I do.
vocals. Yeah, well, yeah, it'll be good there too.
Mhm.
So yeah, basically, I'm doing this podcast. Part of my love in life is the Grateful Dead. A big part of what I do is the Grateful Dead, and I think we might have that in common. I know that there's been so many opportunities to meet you, and I even was in the same room as you, invited to the same parties of you as you, and I didn't even know who you were. And then we kind of met when I started working, with your Airbnb and doing that thing, and it was like,
That's
wait a
true.
minute, like this blew my mind that we have so much in common and that we didn't really know each other in the Grateful Dead world until somewhat recently. Of course, now we're in a band together.
That's funny. I
I
know.
think I wear a Mike Dubois shirt just about every, well, 4 or 5 days a week now. It's in my
Ah,
rotation.
thank you. Yeah,
Yeah. Are you
that was
kidding?
that's a fairly recent one last
Yeah.
summer. Hmm.
GD60. Yeah. Which was Bobby's last run.
Yeah, unfortunately.
That was a sad time. I mean, really, oof, hit to the heart. Still,
Unexpected. Yeah.
still a little, still a little raw for me.
Real hard to believe, really.
I,
I know.
I, yeah, it is, and having the last of the dead vocalists, really just gone. It is a sad time. I'll still
I
say
know.
I am. But
Definitely.
but I think that's the main reason is now we're doing a podcast, and which is echoing my radio show because I love the Dead, and I just want to see people love it too and get everything they can. I mean, I met some of you, for example. We maybe we're kind of working together a little bit, but our shared love of the Dead is a bonding factor. And I think the way the Dead has trickled into your world as it has mine, which is, kindness and community and, love for your people around you and that whole artistic kind of thing, that we have in common. And I think that's one of our biggest, bonding things. I
Yeah.
mean, you'd say
Yeah.
that we have this weird, that we think of the same thing on the same day and call each other about whatever just happened. That happens to us all the time.
I know. It's strange.
Uh, and yet,
More than coincidence.
I,
There's
it, I,
synchronicity in this world, and in all parts of the earth and the world, but in particular in this community, we see it a lot. So,
yeah, yeah, I guess you're right about that. But so I mean, and I got it for you. I got it for you, good, Mike. I'm in your fan club and I'm in your village and your tribe. So if ever you need anything.
thank you, and likewise.
You do so much. My
I
artwork for
picked
Covered in
some
Dead.
gnomes for your mother
I
soon
know I'm gonna drop them off to you. Yeah, that is
tonight.
the greatest thing that you're bringing back to life the gnomes that sat on my mother's lawn, and for years they were fading and chipping and just really more fading.
And you
And
sent me that picture. They were all chipped. I'm like, bring those poor things up here. I'm gonna give them a new life.
so they traveled from Long Island by way of the back of my car, and then they're gonna be delivered to you tonight, so that
And your 90-year-old mother is going to be happy
she's
again with
she's
these
already
gnomes.
so ecstatic. She's thrilled. In fact, today she said, I miss them on the berm because they're not out there. And I just did.
Oh, I better hurry up then.
I told her it's going to be an early birthday present because I'm not going to see her until the end of this month. So
Okay.
that she'll have to
Well, I'll
wait.
shoot for the end of July. It won't take too long. So,
Whatever it works for you. I mean, really, that's the main thing. But thank you for
well,
doing
I just bought some green outdoor paint
it. Oh,
yesterday. So there's one step.
beautiful,
I don't
beautiful.
know what color they are. I haven't seen them, but Anyway, we'll get to that.
We can talk about that later when I deliver them. I just put them in a nice bag. All right, so this whole thing is really just about you and the Grateful Dead world, and I didn't know, so I know where you grew up, Syracuse, right? Syracuse, New York,
Correct. Yeah.
right? And so, like, where did you first hear about the Dead, and how
Uh,
did you get turned on to it?
there was a lot of deadheads around my high school, and but I wasn't into that scene. I was into the whole punk scene of the late '70s and early '80s. The whole, Sex Pistols and the Clash and the Jam and everybody. And I was in those kind of bands playing in clubs around Syracuse from the time I was 15 years old. And I think finally in 1980, they a lot of my friends were, into the Dead, but we were sort of rivals. Our punk bands would play at talent shows, and then the Dead band would play it at one, and we'd be banging away, and people would be blowing off firecrackers, and then the Dead band would come on, and we'd all be standing on the side. It was really interesting. There was almost a rivalry.
1980? Is that what you're saying that
Oh,
was?
well, that was a little earlier. And that
Okay.
was 78, 79. In
Okay.
1980, I finally went to a Dead show because a bunch of my friends were going to Utica, which is, 45 minutes away. So I went down there and, you know, I, 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 I think I had started dropping a little bit by then, and
Right.
maybe I dropped, I believe. But I went to the show, but I really, it was almost mind-boggling. Like I felt a kinship with the sort of people and the freedom, and there was a lot of jugglers back then, and
Okay.
uh, there wasn't a huge parking lot scene, but the parking lot scene that there was small artists like just trying to get to the next show. It wasn't the massive thing it became in the later 80s, but I appreciated it. And I came home, I remember, and I spent the next couple days doing some drawings that were like influenced by it, that whole sort of feeling of it all. And so that was the door that opened. And then then I started getting some tapes and trading tapes with friends of mine. And I still liked a lot of different type of music, like I still do to this day. But I was open to the Grateful Dead and the whole tape trading thing, and
Did you
and
trade tapes?
yes, I did a lot with
Yeah.
friends, and then I converted. The last year I lived at home, the summer of '81. I moved to New Paltz for college in the fall of '81. I converted my parents' basement into like my bedroom. I moved out of my bedroom upstairs, and like it was very deadish, dead posters around. Like I was always listening to The Wake of the Flood and Terrapin Station. And hold on, something happened to my computer here. Oh, uh, anyway. Yeah, so I would listen to those endlessly in Europe 72 and all that stuff. And I think I was starting to get into psychedelics a little more at that point in time. So it all kind of went hand in hand. And I was still into the punk thing too, but that had opened up a different avenue. Then I moved to New Paltz in fall of '81, going to SUNY New Paltz, which is, for those who don't know out there, it's an hour south of where we live now here in Woodstock, New York. It's 80 miles north of New York City, but it was like a major art college back then. And it was also the East Coast Berkeley, they used to call it. It was like
Oh,
when Deadheads were off a tour on the East Coast they were always coming through New Paltz, and there was like encampments and just houses loaded with Deadheads. It was like people would call it like a throwback town. You'd walk down the street and there'd be like a million hippies that looked like they were from like 1974 hanging around.
wow.
And so there was you
Huh.
know, a ton of psychedelic. It had the reputation. It hung on for quite a long time. I mean, till this day, it still has elements of it, and it still has, sort of that feeling. But anyway, by the time I got to New Paltz, like I was fully engulfed with all that, and it felt great. It was comfortable. Taking a lot of art classes and all different types of classes. But on my days off from college, just go down to town, and there was tons of people like playing music on the street, and it was like a free for all. And I
Was
love
there?
that. That was part of my spirit, like who I
Right.
always was as a kid. But
Right.
then, so that band allowed that sort of childlike expression to take place.
Did you
I
hear a lot
walk
of that
I
in?
walk down the street with like bags of percussion and
Oh,
like going to jam, and everybody be jamming. There'd be 10 people there all of a sudden.
I
Yeah.
love that. Were they playing the Dead?
A
Among
lot
other
of it
things.
was just improv stuff
Oh,
and
okay. Right on.
on the street. But yeah, there was dead stuff being played,
Yeah.
and
Right.
there was a lot of live music. And there was I don't remember the exact number, but there was a lot of bars in New Paltz, and the drinking age was only 18, so
Yeah,
there was a
right.
massive party scene. So
Wow, yeah. That's right. Yeah, I was in New Paltz on Monday. The Deadbeats played to celebrate the 1 year anniversary of Covered in Dead. But
oh yeah,
we played right on the street. And
where you played, I lived under there. I told you in the
I
place
I
potato
think I
house.
heard this. Oh, I heard you lived above it. They told me that the other night, actually.
I lived below it. That was like a psychedelic, political, and music and art central in New Paltz,
Wow.
right underneath where you played.
At Hetty Teddy's. Yeah, that's a great store. By the way, much like your store, Happy Life in Woodstock.
That's it.
A
Yeah.
great store. I love it. I love it. But yeah, it was a nice vibe, and Davey and the crew were, really supportive of the band and the playing, and the whole vibe in New Paltz was very eclectic. But it was great to be there again because I played there for 12 years of every Monday night, literally across the street. So I looked at the alleyway where we would load into, and it was just like
It used to be called Coochie's,
I
but
remember back
yeah,
when you were in that day,
yeah.
right?
Then what was it? Cabaloosa, right?
Cabaloosa. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
that was a hot minute there. And then we moved up to Oasis, which was they were kind of connected.
Upstairs. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, when
yeah.
it was a monthly thing, we went from weekly to monthly. But yeah, good times in New Paltz, I'll tell you what. So, okay, I definitely know that we play Dead songs even in our band Misty Mountain Ramblers, but like what are some of your favorites like to play and like Dead songs that you kind of,
That we
maybe
that we
maybe
play in different bands.
or even just yeah, like what are you jamming on that you like in the world of the Dead these days? Because I know what my thing is, but we busted out some new ones recently. And
Yeah.
what do you or over the course of your
Well,
life?
a couple that I don't play in any bands that are exclusively dead, but all the
Right,
handful of bands I play in, we mix some in, and we
right.
mix
What do you
mix
do in
it
the
up.
Terrapin Family Band that we don't do in Misty Mountain Ramblers?
Upstate Family Band.
Oh my God, Terrapin Family
Terrapin
Band.
Family Band was Phil's band.
That's crammed. That's right. Whoops,
Yeah.
my bad
Upstate
on
Family
that.
Band,
That's pretty funny.
we
That's
do
funny.
Bob Weir's,
Right.
On the River. We do
Oh,
Deep Elm Blues. We do
which one? Which one?
Deep Elm Blues,
Oh yeah, nice. I
which
love
is a
that.
cover, actually, right?
Yes, it
Yes, it's a
is.
traditional folk song. That's
That's
right.
right.
Yeah,
That's
and
right.
we do actually the songs. Well, not all of them. We do Big River, which is a Johnny Cash song.
Love that song. Yeah, I
We
just
do
started singing that one.
Masterpiece,
Oh
which is
yeah. Yeah.
probably my favorite cover. That the way the Dead performed that. I know you might have wanted to ask me that. What was
Wait,
your
which
favorite?
one? Wait, what did you just?
Masterpiece by Dylan.
Yeah, right. I love that one. That's one of my favorites.
And we always have a good time.
You know
And
what was interesting? Wait, let me just say that. Remember on your porch when Graham Lesh and Daniel Donato just played on the Happy Life porch,
a
right?
couple of weeks ago, yeah,
Right.
yeah,
So, and you asked our lovely friend Brian Mitchell, who lives in Woodstock, to come out and plays with Levon and played, I should say, with Levon and the whole Levon family and all of the things like that and the weight band, right? Is he in the weight?
yeah.
It's in the weight band.
he does play with, yeah, he
Wait a
plays
minute,
with.
did I get that wrong? I really hope he is. Anyway, Brian Mitchell, a fantastic local player, and you asked him to come out, so he went out and played Masterpiece with Graham Lesh and Daniel Donato for this
Correct.
most incredible hour of music on your porch.
Yeah.
And when they discussed the version, it was whether or not they were going to do the band's version, which has the bridge in it. Oh,
Yeah, yeah.
dirty gondola. Oh, to be in the land of Coca Cola,
Fun. Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
Or were they gonna? So I saw Graham because I paid attention to see. I saw Graham go. Yeah, we'll do that bridge, and then Danny, they come together and they start to learn the bridge,
Right
so
away, I know.
that they could, and they didn't play it in G like the Dead do.
Mhm.
They played it in A, I think, or I'm pretty sure it was A. Anyway, it was, but they did the version with the band version. That was
Oh,
pretty
yeah.
cool. Yeah, I love that because yeah, I mean, it does have a bridge, right? Anyway, so that's great. So and just like many moments on your porch, by the way, I feel like
No, we want
what
to
you
keep
do
the
in
freedom
town.
of music and expression, and and keep it all flowing. That building, I don't know if we want to talk about that building, but it has a lot of history of the last 100 years. It was a barn, then it was a store called the Nook, and then it became the Cafe Espresso for a long time, from 1963 through 1977. And you know uh, uncountable numbers of people that you would have heard of played there for those 30 years.
Yeah.
Bob Dylan lived upstairs for a while, a couple of years, 64 and 65.
And the
And
space up there is so cool and warm upstairs where his apartment was. Just amazing up there. I was just up there. And man, so beautiful, Mike. And the downstairs, what you've
things will
done,
be happening up there.
I know, I'm very excited about that. I'm going to be part of
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
The listening room, I think a listening room would be good up there. But that's just
There's things that you'll be happy about coming
um,
up.
it's a happy life over
You'll be
there.
involved in it.
I know. I'm very glad about that. And it's one of the things I think we share. We want to do things
Mhm.
for the community. It's very cool to do this sort of thing. And I know we've worked together with Roni and, we did, and Mike Densmore for the hunter gathering back there in 2020. And then we just did that. You wanted to put on, brilliantly done on your part, doing the
Don't forget about the Bob Weir tribute.
Bob Weird tribute. We got
Don't
together. We
forget
put it.
about the poster shows.
That's right. I mean, all the things for the community that you've done over here, constant source of goodness.
You help
And
too.
I
Yeah.
know I've been involved with every single one of them. And but it's just so what I love about you and why we have this connection because we both want to do the things for the community. And it's never about. It's always about that and sharing. The love and
Right. These
the
things you're
goodness.
talking about, we're not making any money doing it. You know, we might break even or lose money, but
Ain't that the
what
truth?
what you just mentioned, I mean, I have my store and my
But
retail
that's
and all
right,
my,
right. We all have other things where this
right,
this can be
yeah,
the enjoyment that we
that's
get
correct.
out of it and that we give to others. I think is
Yeah,
what I
yeah,
think we have in common. Right? It's never been for the money, that's for sure. But
yeah.
yeah. So in thinking about all the bands out there these days covering Dead. I mean, you have any of your favorites that you
That
know?
I follow. I don't know. I don't follow, dead
Okay.
cover bands, to be honest with you.
All right.
I
Well,
mean,
there's
of course, I've seen Dark Star a number of times, Dark Star
I
Orchestra,
I saw them just 2 3 days ago.
and Daniel Donato. I love
Saturday
his
night.
take on things, Daniel's, and of course, I love Billy String's take on things.
Yeah, right.
And
Well, there you go.
and
That's
there's of course other bands in the same vein that have evolved out of this, and a whole slew of them in the jam band scene. So
yes.
they've evolved over the years. I just did a poster for a band yesterday who's sort of in that genre, but they're a little bit different. The band Goose, they played at Mountain Jam last
Oh yeah,
summer.
you're doing art for them?
I just did yesterday and today it was released. Yeah,
Have you done work for them before?
no, no.
I just saw somebody wearing a goose shirt like yesterday or the day before. That's why I was thinking.
Right.
But
But I don't really
that's
follow.
cool, Mike.
I don't follow a lot of people too carefully, but I have the jam band station on Sirius XM, so it all gets rotating, in my
Right,
mind,
right, right, right. Which is
Yeah.
great. Which is great. And there it's become I'm seeing even if you're not too familiar with the Dead or the scene, somehow you've probably heard someone playing. If you go out to see music, you might have heard a Dead song because I think, especially, you
No
know,
doubt.
bands trying to grab people's attention. I think it's a common ground, so you can get in there and
Every
maybe
city and many small towns have like not only dead cover bands, but dead night at
yeah,
some bar,
yeah.
you know.
I
So
know. I'm playing at some of them. I mean, to think about 25 years in Albany of weekly Wednesdays, that's pretty significant, and it was COVID that kiboshed that one.
oh yeah.
So, I mean,
Well, you don't have
technically,
to
that
drive
last,
anymore.
say it again.
You don't have to drive an hour every Wednesday, 2 hours.
I'll tell you, it was another thing that was for the love and not for the money.
Yeah,
But,
I know.
certain things, girls got to eat.
That's it. Yeah.
But
I know.
I do love playing and having the folks come out that love the Dead. I think that's a common thing we also have is when people come out. I see you always bring a lot of folks out, and a lot of them are Deadheads. And I would have to say they really appreciate our band because we have Dead and we have other things too, which is really what the Dead was all about to begin with. It
I
was
know. Yeah,
it was them playing their own. I mean, they had their own stuff in there, which
they did a lot of cover stuff.
but they did songs by other bands and covered other band stuff. But their songs were pretty incredible. I mean, what are some of your favorite Dead songs? Do you have any?
Well, yeah, I mean, of course, Dark Star and
Right.
Help, Rip, Frank, I love that whole thing.
Yeah, me too.
I mean, it's there's so many, it's hard to say. And then there's also renditions of how they did them at different periods of time.
Right.
So, um, Let It Grow. I mean, I can just, it's hard to say, oh, I like this. It depends on the mood you're in and
Right.
what you feel like
That's
hearing.
right. That's exact. And
And
what might be
they're all in a similar plane, a lot of them.
right. Oh yeah.
Some things I didn't particularly love later on, but that's okay. I don't have to name those songs. I stopped going to Dead show. I did go to one show on their final tour in '95. Highgate, Vermont was my final one with Jerry
Yeah,
still
I was
alive.
there for that.
But,
I think
you
we
know,
talked about that because you have footage of the parking lot.
yes, that's right.
Right, which I think you think it might be the Deadbeats, but I think it might be Indian Summer that was on the footage
Might have
of
been.
that.
I showed it to you, I guess, maybe.
You
But
did?
yeah,
I
it
think
was
we
Climbing Wall. Did I show it to
the
you?
rock wall, that was Indian Summer. They were around the corner, like one row over in the campground.
Oh,
And
okay.
what's funny is when we got there, now we went 2 years, 94, 95, the
Yeah,
Deadbeats, because we played on a Wednesday and we left straight from Albany after the show and we drove to Vermont and we got there for the show. And the one morning we woke up to a band playing across the parking lot. Like already they were already up and playing and we were still sleeping. And we
oh,
wake up and it's Tom Constantin and his band
oh,
that of whatever the band he had at the time. But it was TC playing in the lot outside the Dead show. Come on. That
in
was
high.
that was
Wow.
wild in Highgate. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And we ended up connecting with him. And after that, I think it was he and Bob Braylove came and did a tour, uh, did a run of shows, and they opened up for the Deadbeats too. That was pretty funny.
Oh,
That was great, man. It was fantastic. But yeah, TC, like the parking lot was always a fun place to play. I think
I
where
know.
and
That's how I started that was part of starting my
yeah, tell
business.
me, tell us about that.
Yeah, I had created some artwork in 1984 and 85, and I was doing a bunch of different jobs out of college and landscaping and carpentry, and I wanted to do something with my art. So I made a few T-shirts with smiling sun face on it.
Yes,
Your viewers have seen it, I'm
I think
sure.
I think that was on my car.
Orange
One of
smiling
the
sun.
only stickers on my car.
Right.
Was that one?
So, yeah, so I printed that on shirts along with like four other designs back then. And, I started to go to the parking lot and you roll out a tarp or a blanket, throw a few shirts down, and I'd walk out with like hundreds of dollars. I'm like, this is a pretty good way to make a living.
Yeah,
So I would just do that on tours and keep printing more shirts and building up my business and
right.
my business capital, I should say, and doing more and more designs. And then, long story short, I started doing other sort of events, bigger festivals, traveling around and doing like art shows and craft shows and still dead shows. And then I had a whole crew doing shows with me, and some would go to dead shows and some would go to, you know, music shows and
Right.
festivals, Ziggy and all
Right.
my
Ziggy,
crew.
right. I was wondering if it was Ziggy. Right. That's great.
Well, he was one, and then yeah, he did a lot with
Did
me
Jamie
overseas.
do that with you too?
He did it with me. Yeah,
Yeah. All in that.
We do go to New York City and sell at Tower Records every Saturday on a little table, just like with my artwork and stuff.
Wow.
And we do street shows, street festivals in New York City.
Wow. In that red van that you still drive.
Well, there was a couple before that, and yes, that was that the one. I still have an '89 Dodge van that I've had
Oh,
for like
yeah.
30 years.
That's
I don't use it
fantastic.
for. I stopped doing shows about 14 or 15 years ago.
Yeah, I
When I
think then sometimes the days of the hustle, we can let that go and set
Yeah,
up camp and let them
I
come.
had fun, and had a great time, and built a business. Plus, we would do a lot of trade shows, so we built a whole wholesale business, which we still have to this day with
Right. I love
multiple
it.
designs and products.
Yeah,
And
what's that website address, Mike?
happylifeproductions.com and MikeDuBois.net is where you can see a pile of stuff.
Excellent. Great.
Yeah. So,
So,
but I
yeah,
started working for the Dead in
yeah,
1996.
1986.
86, yes, yeah. I
And
did.
so
I
how
did a
did you
tour design for them originally when I started doing all these shirt designs. So,
how'd you
you know,
get to how'd you get in then?
Martin from Not Fade Away had bumped into me, and New Paltz. We crossed over there for a little while, and he had gotten a Grateful Dead license. So
Oh.
I did my first
Martin,
design through him. Yeah.
your
Mhm.
sparring partner. You and Martin are funny. And
It's all good.
an adorable, long-term, loving, relationship where brothers sometimes, do a little bit of sparring with each other. Like, hey, but you and Marty are funny. Anyway,
Yeah.
so it was Marty. Okay, so he introduced you. So then, '86, now you start doing art. What?
Right.
That's
Yeah.
that's
So
wild, right? In like only a few years, you start now becoming doing art for the dead.
I know it was cool. Yeah. So every year after that, because my shirt sold well for them, they kept ordering more, and I would do a lot of it through Not Fade Away, which had the license at that point in time.
Right.
And
Wow, that's so cool.
we did all the 88, 89, 90, 91 Jerry Garcia band tours. And then I started doing other bands, the Allman Brothers and Hot Tuna and Santana and all kinds of people. And then I got my own Grateful Dead license in the 90s, and I started, just doing that on my own and started the Grateful Dead calendar. I don't remember what year exactly that started. I'd have to look back, but yeah, we've created a lot of products, a lot of designs over the years, and it's been incredible. I've had a chance to meet all the band members and all the incarnations from the other ones to the Dead with Warren Haynes, the
Yeah.
Dead Company, Rat Dog, Phil and Friends. Phil came to Levon's. He was inspired by that. Started Terrapin Crossroads. I was involved with that. These are all long stories. We've only got actually, if it's 45 minutes, we only got 5 minutes left. So,
Well, we're gonna be fine. We'll get to
uh,
rehearsal and rock it out tonight. But that's
yeah.
great. So wait, so you said you do Terrapin Crossroads artwork?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I
You,
did. I
you
did a
did.
ton. All their opening shows and their official posters early
That is
on.
so cool.
Phil
So
got the idea for that place because he would come and play at Levon's
yeah,
Ramble.
I know.
And
I love that.
he was so inspired by it. He's like, I want to stay home and just do my shows, here.
Yeah, yeah,
And, uh, so
yeah. Because
that's what happened.
sometimes,
And since I was Levon's artist at the time, Andy knew I did work for the Dead, it just rolled smoothly into the whole thing.
right,
And he used other artists as well. I wasn't the only artist by any means.
right. But yeah, I mean that sounds great. So did you meet Jerry? Can you tell me a story about Jerry?
I met Jerry a couple times. Uh, I met him at an art opening that he was having of his artwork in Atlanta, Georgia. I think it was 1990. And I chatted with him and I said, "Hey, thanks for everything. I really appreciate it." There was a lot of people. I didn't want to take up too much of his time. He's like, "Oh man, nice to meet you. I really appreciate what you do." I'm like, "Thanks, man. I really appreciate it." So
You and the voices, Mike. You always get it. You got Levon. You got
well,
Bill Walton.
I hear, yeah, Bill, Mike DuBois. I really love what you're doing. I worked with Bill a lot over the years.
Mike, when I met Bill at Skull and Roses, I said, Mike Dubois is my brother. I no wait, I said this. Mike Dubois is my brother.
You're looking up at
And then he goes, your real brother? And I was like, well, my brother. No, he goes, your real brother? And he looked down. And then he said, I go, my brother from another mother. And he goes, wow, that's still cool. Like, he was still happy for me. And then we talked about you and what a great guy you are for the next however long. But yeah, he immediately, all I had to say, because there's a lot of people around. Everybody wanted to meet Bill Walton, right?
Oh,
But
yeah.
I beelined right to me, and was
So kind. He was
he
kind
loved
enough
you.
to be part of
He
two
loved
of
you.
my art openings in Boulder, Colorado. And I don't remember the exact years, maybe 2017 and 18. He came as a special guest to an art opening I had
Nice.
in
Wow.
Boulder, and he would talk, and just people loved it. He was open to conversation and everything, telling tons of stories because he was there with the Dead since like 70 or 72, and
Wow.
so I worked with Bill on his autobiography, did all the illustrations for his book. That's how I got to know him. And then we became good friends, and I kept doing whatever he needed for his different events and stuff. And
That's so cool.
yeah,
Yeah, he was a real person. Once we locked eyes, as there was it was clear he was interested and he was with me, and there, it was a moment of connection. It was very nice in the midst of all of the people around him, because
yeah.
he was easily spotted in a crowd. So you know,
You'd see him like in a crowd of like 40,000 people, and he'd be there, his arms up, towering above everybody.
I know. It was so great.
I know.
I
I
mean,
hate to be standing behind him, but
but what? Oh yeah,
hate
man.
to be standing behind him and
Right,
on the
I know. And
floor.
I've heard several stories of folks who said, Bill, can we swap places,
Ah,
because of the obvious. But yeah, no, that was nice. Well, you've had such a wealth of people that call you for, art. What are you working on right now besides Goose? Or you just finished Goose?
I just finished the Jerry Garcia Symphonic celebration that was at Tanglewood Music Center yesterday in Massachusetts.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so
Wow.
that was nice.
Yeah,
I didn't make it to the show, but I'm sure it was really cool.
right. Yeah. That's pretty cool. I think aren't they doing it at Bethel Woods? I think they
I'm
are,
not
but I have
sure.
a show. I I think I remember hearing about it. Maybe that was Tanglewood because it's close enough to go to. But there was a
I
show.
met Bobby at Gathering of the Vibes one year. He
Oh
came,
yeah.
and one of the years that Levon Helm Band was playing, and I
Ah,
was backstage, and him and Levon were talking. This is a funny one, and Bobby was saying, "Oh, I don't remember what he was saying, talking about some night he didn't play too well, and and Levon just said, even a blind chicken finds a kernel of corn every now and then, Bobby. Meaning, like, sometimes even the worst players are gonna like hit it on the spot, But
I think I got that one. Yeah, that is so
I
funny.
know.
And your
So
version and your imitation of Levon, I love that too.
yeah, Levon was amazing.
Did you so you hung out with the drummers? Did you hang out with Mickey and Billy?
I talked to Mickey. I didn't hang out with him, but I did his logo a few years ago.
Oh,
So
nice.
I I played you that maybe that phone message. It was pretty funny.
I think you did now that I think about it. Yeah, so you did art for him then. Yeah, you've
Yeah.
done art for everybody. I tell you, when I was first telling the story about you meeting you finally and feeling this great connection, I was at a show. I remember I was setting up, it was a party in Cobleskill, and I was setting up my drums. And I was like, man, this guy's so cool. I just can't believe he's done so much art. And I go, and I was gonna say like, oh, he's probably done my shirt. And I looked down, and it was the Levon shirt, and you did indeed do the shirt that I was wearing, and that just blew my mind. That I had no
Oh,
idea it was a,
Cobus?
it was what
Where was the show?
I my well, my show was in Cobleskill,
Okay.
and we were playing a party. But I looked at the shirt that I happened to be
Oh,
wearing, which was the Levon, the
okay.
Rambles band shirt, and you did the art for it.
Gotcha.
But I
Yeah,
was
yeah.
blown away because here I am, like this guy. I'm like, he's done everything. And I looked down and you've done the shirt I wore. It was that kind of, and that's the kind of connections that I have with you or about you and have these kind of nice moments of like, oh my God, that's fantastic.
Yeah. I know
Well,
it's
you
yeah,
know,
I I've been lucky enough to do, a lot of artwork for the three bands that played at Watkins Glen, the
wow.
band, the Grateful Dead, and the Allman Brothers. I didn't specifically work for the band because, well, they were still around in the 90s, but the original band, disbanded. And
Yep.
when was the last waltz? 76, I guess.
Yeah, right. I think it was where
Anyway, mhm.
Robbie Robertson left. Yeah.
But Levon carried on the spirit of the band here, as you know, from
Most deaf.
his rambles and just the whole vibe
I
there.
I just love that so
I'm happy it's
much.
still going to some extent. We're trying to, in all aspects of this music industry, carry on a good spirit in the difficult times for the music industry. I think
Yeah.
and for a number of that's a whole nother conversation. But we do what we can do.
Yeah, I mean, music is it heals, it soothes. It's like I could have the worst day and go out and play and everything kind of fades away, It just
Yeah.
there's something so beautiful about it. And I love playing Grateful Dead music. I love playing all types of music, but Grateful Dead is just at the core for me in all the things I do. But yeah, I mean, I have this whole appreciation of that art and this culture and the scene, and you were just so much a part of that, and it just blows my mind that literally I didn't have any stickers on my car in the 90s, and then I put just two stickers and they're both your stickers. Like, I mean, the
I
sun
know
and
that's
the moon,
crazy.
like that's the kind of thing. And I just feel like, well, first of all, I'll just say I'm very grateful to have met you and have our times together, because it's great playing with you and having you, do community things. And we're going to play the Happy Life Porch again, and that's going to be great,
Ah,
just in a couple weeks, right? So
mhm.
there's goodness, and we're going to play in town together, and then we're going to play it at the Arrowhead for Kenny's
Yeah,
ranch over there,
all
Kenny and
coming up.
Rose's ranch. Yeah, I mean, there's just good things that I do with you, and I feel so grateful to have this
I
connection with
know.
you.
Thank you. Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah,
I know. Likewise, it's amazing to make, connections in this whole world of musicians and
yeah,
artists. And I'm thankful we live where we do in terms of having the opportunity to live in the beautiful mountains in the
yeah.
country, but
It's
we
true.
have the multitude of culture that you'd find in any city, if not
Right.
more than in a city. We have all these venues, Bearsville, for example.
I know that's such a great venue, and when we were there, I mean, numerous times I've been there, and I just feel like it's so it's just very special in that room and at the Bearsville. I mean, but there's a few. I mean, Colony Woodstock
Colony's
is
amazing.
also
The
another one that is just
Moon,
so special. And now we're getting introduced to Pearl Moon in a way of playing there, which, I played there last weekend and it was really cool to catch that vibe, which is a different kind of vibe. It's a dinner thing and but I really enjoyed it. You had
mhm.
to play, we played really dynamically and we were
Yeah,
able to, and there's just so many dead songs that
yeah,
fit.
that's what we're rehearsing
Yeah,
in a half hour.
that's
We
where
got
we're
to
gonna go.
work on our dynamics.
Yes. All right. Well, I asked you for 40 minutes, and I think we're somewhat close to that now. So, all right, we can go to rehearsal, Mike. I get it. I'm down with that. But
Oh, we can talk. I don't
no, this
care.
is good. This is great.
Uh,
You did great. I mean, we did enough time, and this is perfect. I really appreciate you talking to me. And,
this is good.
I
I'm
feel
glad you
very,
got the podcast going. I'm excited to see it all, and then when you get it all concise, and we can watch a whole number of
yeah.
episodes.
Well, yeah, I aired three last week,
You
and
did already? Oh, I'll
I
have to
did
go back.
air three. I know you're
Oh,
busy. I'll send you the links or give them to you
okay.
later. Last week, just at the end of the week, so you're not too far behind the eight ball for that. But indeed, it's great. I got David Gans was so great. My first guest was Lisa Mackey from DSO, and then I had Jeff
Send me the
Matson
link.
from
I, I,
DSO, and I think it's kind of fun. When I went to DSO last weekend, also, I heard some chatter. People were like, "Ah," when I walked around, they were like, "New podcast." So that was kind of nice to because I do believe in this music. I want to see this continue. I love what Bobby, the mission he's taken on, and I feel like I want to be in his
I
camp.
know
And
you can get word out and get this spreading. There's hundreds of thousands of people that'll be interested in hearing just these conversations.
I think they might appeal to some, and especially you being such a great artist, people would like to know how you got involved in the dead world, and that you're still pretty much. I mean, I walk into your store and it is just flowing with art everywhere, and it's on the socks. Which, by the way, I wore. Oh, I'll tell you this: I wore the Golden Road socks that you made.
Oh
The
yeah,
Golden Road artwork you made, right? That was GD50 was what that
yeah,
was, right? But
yeah.
but I wore. I have the
Actually, it
socks.
was originally Bill Walton's book cover that Simon and Schuster rejected
Oh,
because it was too psychedelic. They just ended up with a picture of Bill on the cover.
oh my God, really? That's so
So
funny.
I turned it into Grateful Dead 50, and it turned into like a major piece at the 50th shows in Chicago and California.
That's
But I have
fantastic.
Bill again to thank for that.
That's
Bill throwing ideas. I want a bus in there and throw in Terrapin Station. And while you're at it, make sure Franklin's Tower's in there. He kept going on and on. Put a
and
crow in
they're
the.
all there. I could go look at it. It's hanging on my wall in,
I
in
know.
my music room. But I'm not gonna get up right now. But just the fact is, so I'm at DSO, right, and I'm sitting there. It's second set. People are having a blast, and I had the socks on, but I had like capri pants, so you could see the socks, right? Even though the best part, Mike, I got to tell you, is under the shoe. So I was
Oh,
I was so anyway. These people, this couple, adorable couple in front of me, goes, "Wow, those are really cool socks," And I was like, "Oh, wait for the best part." And then I took off my shoes and I let them see the whole, like the biker guy on the front of
oh yeah,
on
yeah.
the front of the foot, right? And then some woman, and so then I took out the flashlight, and they were all staring at my socks for like 5 minutes.
In the
Somebody,
dark,
somebody walked by. She stopped, and I had all these people like, "Wow, those socks are
looking at the box.
awesome."
That's great.
But I see the effect
Those
in
stocks exist because of Bill Walton. He turned me on to the people that held the license for those socks in San Diego, where he was from.
Cali something or other. It said on it.
That he, yeah.
All right, we got to go to rehearsal
All right, I'll see you shortly. I
in
gotta.
in 40 minutes, right? Yeah.
It's
7 o'clock. It's 6:20. We're good to go.
all right,
Which
Denise.
means it's 4:20 somewhere. I'll see you over there, Mike.
Actually, in
A
Chicago.
while.
Right.
Okay, I got it back. There we go. For the strong closer, going out on a high note. Cover to Dead podcast. Over and out. Thank you so much, Mike DuBois. Love you.
All right. Thank you, Denise.
All right. You have a good one.